Hey guys, GameBoy30 Hunter here once again, and for the first time in a while, it's time for another community event. That's right, this is going to be, what, number 12? We've done 12 of these, or 11 of these already? I can't believe that. Anyways, we didn't do a community event last year because I spent my time moving 3 times, so that wasn't fun. Hopefully that won't happen again. However, let's go besides that point, and here is Gaithersburg 2020. This is going to be our map. It's on the BeamNG.Drive website. It's actually under my management now since Mike Bev gave me control of all his stuff, so I guess this is an old Mike Bev map that now I control, so that's cool. I didn't make it though, it's all Mike Bev. Pretty sure anyways. Could I double check? I could. Will I? No. Anyways, this is a bit of a poverty show. So that's the theme of the event. Poverty. What does that mean? The main rule set this time is 1,050 horsepower. That's right. You might think, how do you get that low? Is it even possible to get that low? Well, if we pull up our UI apps and enable the torque curve app, we can see our BHP and torque figures here. So what we're looking to see here is 1,050 horsepower plus or minus 5, so I'm at 1053, so right in the middle. And for the torque, you're going to want to have 1,300 foot-pounds of torque or less, so I'm at 1280, so that's fine. I think that translates to like 1760 Newton meters, 1762 Newton meters for the 3 Australian people out there. And how do you get an engine to have this low horsepower? Because it's a 540 big block with a supercharger, right? Well, here's what I did. This is the stock Ford 540 I usually like to run. I have my RPM pretty low at 5750 and my supercharger fully detuned. However, there are ways to get more RPM and more interesting tunes than just low RPM. And I'll also show you the 2 or 3 banned parts that aren't allowed purely because they just seem to bypass this rule set. So I'm running a manual with clutch gearbox. With the clutch, it's a direct drive, so I don't need to worry about a torque converter being stupid. Maybe you'll like that too, but then you'll need to get used to pressing the clutch down a lot, so it's whatever. I'm going to start us off with doing a quick racing pass. Go around. That's our second time hitting the jump. Because the trucks are going to be slower this time around, it is only going to be a 1 lap. To have a good clear line of the finish, that was the finish line, so 1 full lap around. Should be simple to keep track of. No, I lost my middle flag. How did that happen? And instead of doing a tough truck challenge like we've done a couple times before, this is going to be an all monster truck event. The middle event, though, in between racing and freestyle, is not going to be 2-wheel skill specific, but it is going to be best trick. So if you want to do a 2-wheel skills move for best trick, you can. However, I'm going to go for something simple. Just go for a bit of slap wheel here. You know, for something with 1,000 horsepower, that might be hard to do. I just remembered that I don't want to do that move. So if you mess up the first time, you do get a second attempt. There we go. If you do one move, like the first move is good, you can do a second, but if you do a second move and you blow up, that won't count against you. Consider the first move is a proper scored move, and if you are alive after that, you can do a second. 2 isn't required, and you won't be scored low if you only do 1. That's the point I'm trying to get across. One more thing for the racing rules, because this is a poverty event, the rules are going to be pretty lax on the like hitting the car ramp there and crossing the lines. As long as you get 3 tires over the ramp, you're good. So even though this might not look like a legal pass, as long as my back tire gets over enough, it'll count. As well, if you think you can go faster by cutting the lines, go ahead. Obviously, don't just cut the whole line like this. That's clearly cheating, but you know, if you want to cut the inside line as much as possible, if you think you can be faster that way, you go ahead. As long as you get 3 tires on the ramp, it's good to go. It's the same 2-second rollover timer though. So if we roll over and try to hack save it, I would pause the video here and say that's your run done. So even if you manage to like do an upside down sidewall to get back on your wheels, that would be your run done. I am also running a experimental LUA on the BeamNG.Monster's member Discord. So realistically, I only have about 5 seconds of upside down time anyways, instead of the 5 minutes that stock BeamNG has, so it's a bit stupid. I was able to restart. That's not always the case. Sometimes your engine does just kaboom with the LUA. It's a bit weird, but I like it more than being upside down for 10 years and being fine. So 2-second rollover timer. I'm not sure if what I showed before when I paused was even 2 seconds, but you get the idea. Hack save's not allowed. Alright, let's go over a couple of the banned parts since this is a pretty relaxed event. Not very many parts are banned, but I will show you the banned parts. So if we go here to our engine and to our gearbox, things like, where is it? I guess it'll be in here. And my transmission mods. We go here, you see the 3-speed cheetah transmission. You'll see why it's called that as soon as we get going, even though we only have 1,000 horsepower. This gearbox will make it feel like you have 3,000. You can clearly tell we're going way too fast. So that's why this gearbox is banned. And the CVT gearboxes are also banned just because they kind of get rid of any challenge. You just hold the gas and go. So CVT gearbox, if you don't know what this is, it basically sucks. So I do something like that, where the minimum gear ratio is 0.5. All we do is hold the gas and go, and it stays at an RPM. Yeah, this just sucks. Nobody should use this, so that's why it's banned. Let's go back to the one other part that's not allowed, and that is a torque converter with a adjustable coupling AV ratio. So let's use this gearbox as an example. So at the bottom of our tuning menu, we'll have the torque converter settings and the coupling AV ratio of whatever gearbox with adjustable torque converter you want to use. Should not be over 1. Why is this? Well, let's drive it stock from standard just to see how it feels. Feels pretty alright. It's about what I was driving before with the manual with clutch. Maybe a little bit less direct with the power, so maybe I won't use this gearbox, but you can tell it's easily drivable. If I put it in third gear, it just kind of stays at 5,000 RPM until it can build up enough revs, or enough wheel speed rather. But now what happens if we take that coupling ratio and just all the way up it to 1.55? this will act as a horsepower multiplier, or a torque multiplier, so we'll get an extra 55% torque to the ground at no cost. So this means you can see, even though we're still using third gear, it looks like we're going way faster because we're essentially putting down more torque to the ground with no downside. And second gear, we're just too fast. The coupling AV ratio of whatever gearbox you use should not be over 1.0. Make sure it is 1. And the diameter, usually I'm pretty strict with this, but you can have it whatever you like. In fact, with this tune, I think it'll slow us down having it bigger. You're going to want a bigger torque converter for like a 2000 RPM diesel engine that otherwise wouldn't even be able to move past 10 miles an hour. Now, it's a huge torque converter. You can tell we're just bogging down. We're not very fast, but if you're using very low RPM, it's what you got to do. But yeah, that's all the band parts. Now let's go over the things that we can do. I'm going to set my gearbox back to the manual with clutch, and I'll go over something you can do on a lot of chassis. So CRD, CRC, Woolman, and I'll put out a hot fix to my pack so it'll be available on PEI as well. In the backup beeper slot up here is something cool. I've shown it off before, but I'll show it off again. But first I need to return our engine to stock power figures, so I will do that right quick. .3 and 2.15 for our supercharger settings to get us back to 1500 horsepower at 8000 RPM. This is bone stock. This is how this engine spawns. Take a look at that. If we look at the backup beeper, where it might be in the tow hitch or the horn slot of some other chassis, I don't know. But at the very top, you see some engine power modifiers. 75% engine power, 50% engine power, 25% engine power. I'm going to go with 75% engine power. So we're down 25%. This will put us around 1100 horsepower. That's still too much. But instead of having to do 5000 RPM, all we got to do is detune our supercharger just a bit. And we'll see that we should be very illegal, while also still having 8000 RPM. So there we go, 1043 horsepower and 1077 foot-pounds of torque. That's well within the range. So now, if you're used to driving at high RPM, you can. The only limit is horsepower and torque, not RPM, not engine. Except for the Blaze engine that can't die. That's the only exception. I don't think that even works anymore though, so what do I know? That should about cover everything. Everything I've shown here applies to all chassis as well. So if you want to use like PEI, Kohler, CRC, Woolman, maybe even Digger 20, you should be able to detune the engine enough to get down to the horsepower limit, no matter what it is. Other than that, this will be a fun poverty show. It just occurred to me that I haven't gone over freestyle yet, so it's 2 minutes. Stay reasonably within bounds of the main track. If you want to, like, do a parade lap out here, or have your parking out here, of course you can. But, you know, just coming out here to drive around, I don't think it'll give you a benefit, except to line up for this, so, you know. Pretty simple track. And if you have problems running this track at any settings, here's a couple of quick tips. If we go to the options and go to our graphic settings, if you have your shadows at all or partial, you are giving up a lot of FPS for that. So if we set our shadows to none, this map, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't turn into a black hole. So you can run no shadows to get a nice FPS boost. And also, there's a BeamNG with non-crush cars version of this track linked as well. So that means if you are unable to run with multiple vehicles on the map, you can run with the MP version, so that none of the vehicles will be able to crush. I'm not sure that's going to be an advantage, so I'll leave it allowed. So if you need to run that, you will be allowed to. That's going to be it for now. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment or poke me in my Discord server. That's sometimes alive. Other than that, have fun. The due date is going to be February 23rd, I want to say. And the stream or video date will be March 3rd. February 24 is the due date. And March 3rd is the video or stream, whatever it's going to be. I don't have good internet where I'm at, so that's why I haven't been streaming or uploading as much. A simple video takes 3 hours. So it's a bit pain, but it is what it is. I got a roof over my head, and that's all that matters. That's it for now. Like I said, any questions, leave a comment or poke me in Discord. I'm sometimes online. Track link below. That should be everything covered. I'll see you all on the track. Goodbye, everybody. And that's that new LUA thing. It was only upside down for a couple of seconds, but my engine's melted. That's pretty cool. Goodbye, everybody.